Here we're going to do a Bulgarian split squat, or sometimes called a rear foot elevated squat, which is exactly what it is. This is going to predominantly work your quads, but it's also going to work your glutes, and your hamstrings are going to be used, but more of a stabilising muscle. So the idea here is to get some tension predominantly through the quads. Now, what you need is you need a bench or a footstool. You're going to put your back leg, so the leg that's not going to be working, with your laces down. What we need to think about is making sure that when we do that, we don't open our hips up, so hips and knees are all in line. We don't want to be like this. We're facing forward the opposite way to where our foot is, so we're not on any kind of angle. We need to make sure that our foot is out in front, and when we do the exercise, our knee doesn't track over the top of our foot. We don't want this kind of thing going on. It's going to put a lot of pressure through your knee and a lot of pressure through your ankle. It's going to be really uncomfortable. So a good way to figure out where your foot position should be is to start in the bottom position. So put your knee, your laces down on the bench, and then move your foot so that your shin is vertical. And that kind of position there is where I'm going to be. So then I can just come up and I know where I'm at. Now, as I lower myself, I'm not going to think about going forward over my knee. I'm going to think about sitting back and sending my bum towards my heel so that I come and I sit down. Now, if your knee doesn't have to touch the floor, this is a low footstool, so my knee's pretty close to the floor. But ideally, we wouldn't let our knee touch the floor because that will take the tension out of our quad. So we're going to think about sitting down, and then when we drive up, we're going to, when we go upwards, we're going to think about driving down into our foot through our heel and the ball of our foot, nice and high. And we're not going to lock our leg out. We're not going to lock our knee out at the top. Again, that'll take the tension off our quad. Naturally, we'll have a slight lean forward. Don't over exaggerate it, and don't try to stay really upright like this because you'll put a lot of pressure through your lower back. So you will have a natural angle forward. There should be no tension in your lower back. We want our core switched on throughout the movement. That's going to help with balance, and it's also going to make sure that the tension goes through our quad. So if you can do a split squat without any weights, if you can do a split squat, adequately, you can add weights. You can have a goblet, you could hold a dumbbell like that, or a kettlebell. You could have dumbbells down by your side, or you can have a barbell across your back. But it doesn't affect the basic movement of the split squat. So I'm just going to go for a few reps here. So laces on, start in the bottom position, so around there. Then I'm going to core on, sit backwards towards my foot, down like that, keep the tension, drive through my foot and come up. So cores on, sit back, slight angle, slight body lean, drive up through my foot. Don't lock my knee out. One more rep. And then you swap legs. So your front leg is always working. Laces down on the bench. Make sure that your hips, knees are all square and all facing forward. Core switched on. Slight natural lean forward. Don't try to lean back or lean forward too much. I tend to look about 10 foot on the floor in front. Make sure that that front leg, the shin angle is vertical and that your knees aren't tracking over your toes. When you're driving up, core switched on and drive through your foot upwards and don't lock your knee out at the top of the movement. And that is a Bulgarian split squat or a rear foot elevated squat.